Hi, Jonas. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
I'm
How are
fine.
you?
How are you? Good. Just level of excitement getting back to it. I mean, last year you came in as a new manager, had to go through the trials and tribulations, but now that you've had a full off season, after being a full off season with them, just how excited are you for Saturday?
A lot. Of course, a lot of excitement going into the home opener. But I also think that learning from last season and something really important to be successful in this league is having consistency. And consistency being competitive. So yes, it's the first game. Yes, it's really important and we're excited to do it, but it's also one game of 30. We need to go out there and we need to enjoy ourselves, enjoy the occasion, do our best performance, and from there on we go on with our season no matter what the result is.
As far as I mean, Kaylin's obviously she left the team in the off season. Just as far as Dee Dee, just what have you kind of seen from her? Obviously, she's played numerous years in the NWSL as a leader and everything. Just what have you kind of noticed from her this off season?
I mean, the same thing as we saw from Didi last season. She's a reliable, experienced goalkeeper, a really team first kind of mentality player, composed on the ball, and as you mentioned, many years experience in playing in this league.
Have you named a starting goalkeeper yet?
No, just like with our outfield players, we select a goalkeeper for each game, we select a right fullback for each game, and so on. So it's it's nothing different on there. I think when we see, and it's probably come to a moment this week here from what's happened in the men's Champions League, where you see a really early substitution on a goalkeeper. It's been like I think there is an element of this position where there needs to be trust because obviously everyone sees if there is a mistake, and there's really important to be brave and to play in that position. So there might be a little bit different on that position compared to others, but not a lot.
Thank you, Jonas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alejandro, you want to go next?
Yeah, Jonas, you mentioned the 30 games this season, right? Two new expansion teams being added. I'm curious on how that changes the approach in the season. Does it change it at all? Maybe adding a bit more travel time going to the East Coast again with Boston. Your team faced Denver during the Coachella Invitational, so I'm curious just how that approach happens when facing a new expansion team when the time comes.
I mean, the only thing that changes is like the level of competitiveness in the league. I think it's gonna be remain just as high as it was last season, if not even more competitive. And it's the duration of the race that changes a little bit. More games, more times you need to be switched on and compete and go for points, and it's really about being long in that race, and that's for any team that wants to be successful in the league. And that's what's adding on for us, but it's also for everybody else. So whoever is better in playing the long game is gonna be at advantage this season.
I'm also curious on the type of role that Kimi Ascania will have this season. Last season, she was very much in the starting lineup and rotating as well. A few more attacking players have been added this offseason. Where do you see Kimi Ascania's role?
I mean, Kim is a phenomenal player for us. From the moment that I come here, she's definitely one of the players that has impressed me the most. And remember, hadn't played that much before last season in the league, and I think she made a really, really strong name for herself, very deservedly so. And I continue to see her developing here in the off season too. Where do I see her play? She's a central player. That is the important part. She's a central player that when she's connected with players around her, she can operate in small spaces. She's such a game intelligent player, but also with an excellent technique. So there is a lot of roles and possibilities for Kimi Ascanio this season as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tony, do you still have a question?
Yes, thank you for your time, Jonas. If you could just kind of give us a tactical preview of what this San Diego Wave team is going to be. out the gate, and what opponents could potentially, and fans even, be expecting from new front three almost, and some of the new players that are coming up as well?
I hope we're a really exciting team to watch. That is trying to really move the ball, to move the opponent, and finding our moments to strike. I think we've added on both individual quality and speed up front to make us more flexible in whether we can attack in front or behind the opponent's backline. I still hope that we see a very well organized San Diego Wave in defense, and a team that works really hard for each other, but adding on an even more stronger defending in front of our goal.
And then just finally for you, in what ways do you feel like you yourself have grown as a manager with this last season under the belt, now going into this year? Is there any sort of areas of growth where you feel that you've had or just experienced with a year in the NWSL?
I always think there is. I think there is a point when you look at, for example, me as a leader, and I take the example of how we have done with captains this season, that we have Ken Sadali and Kennedy Wesley as co-captains. And I really believe that leadership is not a one-person job. And the same thing holds true for the way we have the staff around, that my role is to delegate to a lot of the specialists that we have around here in the staff group. And I think that's a way where I'm evolving and developing as a leader as well, to sort of orchestrate rather than controlling everything, and really using some amazing people that I have around me working. And take as an example with my assistant coach, Becky Tweed, for example, that is doing some phenomenal work, both with planning training sessions or coaching in the training sessions or having meetings. And it's really rewarding for me as well to see other people being really successful. But I also think for us as an organization, that's how we can really develop into being a high performing staff group. Other than that, what else am I developing to? I feel calmer. It might not look like that for every year that goes into be a sort of like where my role is. And I think when I was going in and started to be a coach, I was very passionate in the weeks working with the team, and I was really passionate on the sideline as well. And I feel the need for me to be calm and composed on the sideline. It's just increases, and that's my aim to be that, and give the fire and the passion in the week, so we are well prepared and being able to handle the intensity that the game will throw at us.
Thank you for the insight. Thank you for your time.
So no yellow cards for me this season. If I am, I'm in the sim bin. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rowie, do you want to go next?
Sure. Thank you for your time, Jonas. I appreciate it. I wanted to start off, after having heard from Kennedy, it made me think seeing Trinity Armstrong on the SEI list. Do you have a sense of how far away she is from returning? And in the meantime, how are you anticipating, Kennedy and Kiki and the back line, especially on the central part of the back line, to make up for, or like to do the best they can without her?
Yeah, it's hard to provide a timeline right now on Trinity. It's definitely like that we hope that she can return before the summer. But then if this is going to be really close to this game, or if it's a little bit further away, the next weeks will be very telling for us in order to sort of establish that. In the meantime, I mean, we have three natural central defenders in the squad, with Kennedy Wesley, Kristen McNabb, and Daniela Arias, that are all experienced, really good players. So we have options going there. We obviously have a few other players in the squad, like you mentioned, that can also come in and play center back as their secondary position. So there are options for us, but ideally we would like to have Trinity Armstrong back, both both because of the kind of player she is, but also because of numbers and competition.
Yeah, totally understandable. And then on the big picture, I remember, or I had to go back and check, but heading into last season, I can remember you talking about how success would be reaching the playoffs, and that it was about building a team that could contend to win year after year, but that it would take time. Like as you sort of zoom out and look at this from a multi-year project perspective. Like, how do you feel about where the team is now on that timeline? And like, how much closer do you feel to that goal?
We're definitely one season closer. That's for sure. Then the question is how many seasons that it was originally, and that's of course the question that is harder to answer. Our mindset as a club is definitely to be consistently competing for championships and trophies. But I think there is a big mistake in this league and with the level of competitiveness in going into that getting too far ahead of yourself. Like that's what we're every day is about to get us closer to that point. But our focus, it remains on the game that we have in front of us. And that was my point with playing the long game and being able to go for 30 games and then plus the playoffs, that you need to be able to perform in each one of those 30 games. So we can't think now what we're going to do in October or November. Like I think teams that are doing that will have a hard time to compete right now. So we need to be here and now to compete. And actually, nothing of that what we achieved last season we can use in the table this season. We all start on 0 points. We all need to earn our rights again to go to the playoffs, and from there on, go further on. Do we want to finish up as high as possible in the table? Of course we do. We're really ambitious. That's what we're aiming to do. But the strategy in going there is playing one game at a time.
Thank you. And I guess last one from me is just with Mimi on the roster now and the game against Houston and her facing her sister in her first regular season match. Are there any things that you have either told her or that you might tell her about this sort of unique debut opportunity for her?
No, I don't think I need to tell her that. I think she's been quite aware of that since she saw the playing schedule. And I think what a great moment if that would be to happen, right? With two sisters being able to play a professional game against each other. And hopefully it's like what all the things we want to have in here. We want to be really competitive when we play against each other on the pitch, but off the pitch we're all friends, like how it should be. And hopefully you can zoom out and see that that's a really, really nice moments to share together as a family. And maybe most difficult for her parents to know which team to cheer for.
Thanks, Rowie. We're gonna end it there. It's getting pretty rowdy in the other room, but hope to see you guys on Saturday, and I appreciate you hopping.
I can start it off.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Kennedy. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
So just wanted to get right off the bat and just ask how excited you are to get another season kicked off, and obviously starting a new year, especially with the way you guys kind of ended playing really well down the stretch, and you guys took it to Kansas City, and obviously carrying momentum over and everything. Just how excited are you?
Yeah, I think we're really excited. I think we have a group here that is super eager to get into competitive games, and we've been putting in a lot of hard work during this preseason, both on the field and off the field to get to know each other. So I think everyone's really excited and just looking forward for the opportunity to compete.
Just as far as obviously there's a big change at goalkeeper. Kaylin is now no longer there. Does that make your guys' job a little bit tougher, like trying to get to know Dee Dee and the rest of the goalkeepers and everything, or what is that like? Because I mean, I'm sure you guys had communication with Kaylin, you guys knew each other, but how does it go now that there's a new goalkeeper back there?
Yeah, I think we do things just like we did before. We've spent this season taking intentional time to get to know each other, to get to know how each person communicates, how each person like receives information. And I think we've done such a great job at that early on in the preseason. So it should be a seamless transition once we start back up into games. But ultimately, we're focused on the people that are here now on this team in 2026. And I think we have everyone's eager to do what's best for the team. So I think we'll be in a really good spot.
With Jonas, it seemed like last year you guys really kind of got off to a rhythm, and you guys ended on a positive rhythm. Just now that you guys have had a full, I mean, I know you guys last year had a full off season, but you guys were still getting to know him and everything. Now that you've had a full off season with him, and the familiarity is there, what is that kind of like going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think it set us up well. I think last year we established a lot of our game model and how we want to play both principles with and without the ball. And I think now we have a good foundation of us that had already known those things coming in, and we're able to get everyone else that's joining the group on the same page as quick as possible. So I think just having that foundation and base with how we want to play already puts us in a better position than maybe last year when we were still trying to learn and work out a lot of those kinks. And it definitely will still take some time. We won't be perfect come Saturday, but I think we're in a really good spot, at least going into the year.
What's it been like to don the stars and stripes and play for your country?
It's been an amazing experience. I mean, every time I've been called in, I've been super grateful to, one, just have the opportunity to play for the US, but also to experience and play on a field with such competitive, high-level players. Emma does an amazing job of creating an environment where you're super challenged, but also able to flourish and try new things. So it's been an unbelievable experience, and I'm super grateful for it all.
Last question for me, and again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
With Dee Dee, just what has your relationship kind of been like with her? I mean, there's a possibility she can be in goal on Saturday, but just what's your relationship been like with her, and how have you guys how has that relationship flourished the last few years that she's been here?
Yeah, she's great. I mean, she, I think, provides such a good sense of calamity and control in the back line. I think it's very easy for when games get hectic and chaotic for everyone to get wrapped up in that. But I think she does a really good job of bringing us all back in and simplifying the game when it needs to be simple, but also she's able to um, execute and make really good saves at the same time. So I do think she brings a little bit of everything to the table, but ultimately she's just a gem, and it's been really fun getting to know her both on and off the field. But I think she's more than ready for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fernando. Tony, are you able to unmute now?
Yes, thank you for your time, Kennedy. Congratulations on the co-captaincy. What does that mean for you, not just on a personal level, but in terms of how the club and Jonas themselves see you as a leader in the squad?
Yeah, I'm super thankful that they've kind of entrusted me with that role. I think it is something that this group makes my job super easy in that role. I think everyone is very bought in, motivated intrinsically. So I think for me, it's just a matter of bringing out even more out of everyone and still developing myself along the way. But ultimately, yeah, super thankful that they were able to trust me with that role. And I hope that um, I can use what I've learned from so many incredible leaders ahead of me and apply it to this group.
And then what were the lessons that you can say that you individually and collectively as a team learned from last year and kind of hone those over the offseason that are going to better prepare you for this year coming up?
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot in the sense that we have a really unique, special group where we can play really pretty soccer at times and connect passes and make the game really fun to watch. But I think an area of growth for us has been like a little bit of that scrappiness and being willing to put in the defensive work so that we then have the right to play and keep possession of the ball. So I think our evolution has been just making our game the most well-rounded it can be. And I think we've been putting in a lot of work for that this off season. So hopefully we're able to see it come all together this weekend.
You have right now the best idea of what the San Diego Wave attack is going to look like as you are training and diamonds cutting diamonds in that sense. What can people expect from the offensive side and just the group in general on a stylistic way of playing with some of the new additions?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun to watch, to say the least. We have so much individuality and flair and athleticism. I think we have gathered a group that is very different in a lot of ways, in the sense that everyone brings their own strengths to the table, but I think it ultimately gives us more options in how we want to play. We can be direct, we can keep the ball. I think we have a very dynamic group, and I think it'll be really fun to watch and lots of goals will be scored.
And finally, is there any off-season rituals or just things that you do to prepare you personally for the beginning of a long season?
I think one thing that was super important in my off season was to truly take some time to unplug, be away from the game, be away from the structuredness of it all. And I think I did that well. I went to Japan and I really was off the grid. And I think that was a great reset. And for me, it's what I need going into, like you said, how long of a season we have coming up.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tony. Jenny, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do actually. Hi, it's Jenny from Wave Nation. I was wondering, with the loss of Sheridan and now you're working with Dee Dee, I know Sheridan had a little bit of a different style where she was basically a third center back in a lot of ways. How has your communication with the back line changed now that you have a different goalkeeping setup? And what can we expect this season in terms of defensive organization?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job this off season and preseason. Um, just making things as simple as possible to start. We want to over communicate, to over organize, to make sure we're super sound defensively. And I think we've put an emphasis on that. And then as time goes on, as games go on, as the season goes on, we'll start to layer on more bits and pieces. But I think regardless of the personnel, our team has standards and principles that everyone is capable of executing, and I think it truly doesn't matter which player you put in each position. I think we're all on the same page in the sense that we know what's expected of us, and it's just a matter of execution.
Okay, and then one last question. How is your relationship with Kiki and what has it been like working with her in the back line?
It's been great. It's always fun to play with someone you played with at some point in your life or in your career. So it's super fun having her back on this team and being together. She brings a tenacity and an energy that I think is really unmatched. So it's been so fun to see that here in preseason, and I'm excited for it to carry over and for it to be against an opponent, not all of us. So yeah, it's really great to have her here.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm gonna quick. Rowie actually joined, and Alejandro, do you have any questions? The two that just joined.
Yeah, just one for me. Thank you. Obviously, two more expansion teams being added this season. And it wasn't long ago, right, when Wave was just an expansion teams, four more regular games in the season. How does one mentally and physically prepare for just four more regular season games and then having to travel to the East Coast against Boston, making it a little bit of a longer travel now?
Yeah, I think the first thing to acknowledge is how exciting it is for our league that the sport is growing, that more teams are able to join. I think it just shows that we've made a lot of strides, although we still have more to go. It's really awesome to see. I think that it'll just be really important that with more games, more midweek games, we have to really put an emphasis on our recovery and the things we're doing outside of this space. Sleep, nutrition, all of that becomes even more amplified. Making sure that we have the most amount of players available each game. It's obviously going to be a challenge, but I think it's something that we all have the discipline and motivation to put an emphasis on this season.
Cool. Thank you, Alejandro. Rowie, do you have a last question?
Sure. I mostly was curious about just with more national team time, like what have been some of the things that you feel have been most applicable from national team camps to your development this off season and prepping for this season with the Wave?
Yeah, I think that environment that Emma's created is one of which, whether you've been in it for a long time or on the newer side like me, it gives you the opportunity to flourish, to try new things, to compete. And I think the competitiveness of that environment is the one thing that I feel like I stick with the most. We compete so much in camp, not just against opponents, but against each other in on and off the field. So I think bringing a level of competition back here, whether it's against each other in practice, against an opponent, or ultimately, I've found myself competing against myself in the sense that I always am trying to um, get better in each performance and each practice and things like that. So um, I think, yeah, that environment is one of the top, probably the best environment in the world. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, so it's been awesome being able to learn things from there.